conflict. In northern Mali, the country is divided de facto into two. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, 120 armed groups, yet it is the busiest airspace in the continent of Africa. Minerals are being taken away to Europe and America. Central African Republic, the same. Libya, the same. Several months ago, I wrote to the chair of the African Union and to all African heads of state and said, convene a meeting with only one agenda item. What can we do to save Africa from this slide? Only 4 replied. That is the state of the continent of Africa. We must deal with the basic things. We must solve conflict. We must change our governance. Because if we don't deal with the question of governance, we are going nowhere. Africa has become a continent where after every election there is conflict, because the pursuit of power is a cutthroat competition where throats are actually cut. And when the SMO was here and he consulted the oracles, he discovered that we have a problem in that direction. And that the sooner we resolve that, the safer we will be. Africa can rise and Africa will rise. But it's not going to rise by prayer and fasting. We must pray and fast, but it will not happen. Because the last time I checked, even those of you are believers, when Abraham was taken from Ur of the Chaldeans and given Canaan, it was not on a silver platter. He had to fight the Canaanites. He had to fight the Philistines. That is the nature of divine instruction. Go ye and subdue the world by the sweat of thy brow. The kitchen where they make manna was closed. Manna will no longer come. Because you must now make your manna. And it is our duty, therefore, as Africans to begin to rethink the younger generation.
So I have followed Prof for a very long time now, and I share his opinion on many things he has been saying. In fact, I view Prof as one of the most educated people in Africa and one of the most outspoken people in Africa, and someone who is very knowledgeable about the problems Africa is facing and the solutions that Africa must take in order to resolve the problems that Africa is going through. He is quite clear about all this. And like he mentioned, just sitting there and praying and fasting and hoping that things change on their own wouldn't actually get anything done. If there's one thing that we almost understand is that in order for you to get anything done, in order for any change to take place according to how you want it to happen, you must be involved in how the change take place. Change will always take place. Things will always change. But if you want that change to go your way, if you want that change to be according to how you want it, you must be very, very proactive. You cannot just sit in your house every day and cry out about things not going your way. Africans have got to be very proactive. Africans have got to stand up and look at themselves and said, we have got to take our own destinies into our hands. We have got to get this right this time. This thing has got to stop, and we will put an end to all this. We will ensure that the next generation of African children do not go through all this mess. The exploitation of the continent has got to stop. The unfair treatment by financial institutions have got to stop. We have got to prove to the world that we are people of values, that we have values that we will bring to the world, and our values must be respected by the rest of the world. That the West cannot just come into Africa and do things the way they want. That if France wants to do business in Africa, France has to come in like any other foreign business partner would. There won't be any special treatment for France. There won't be any so-called first right to refusal for France in Africa. Until we, the Africans, start being proactive, until we start taking the necessary steps that will help us push back on some of these things that are going on in Africa, they won't go anywhere. All this talk that African leaders do abroad, all this whining and complaining that African leaders do without taking necessary actions to support their talk, is a total waste of people's time. I said it before and I will say it again. And sometimes people think that I'm too shallow-minded, but it's the truth. Because just whining and complaining won't get anything done. I have always asked this question. Has a problem ever be solved by itself without people actually solving it? Has a problem that was left to fate got itself resolved? Things do not solve themselves. Problems do not solve themselves. People have to be proactive. People have to get involved. People have to figure out a way to get these problems solved. If all we do is complain, if all we do is cry, if all we do is whine, we will just keep on complaining, whining, and batching, and nothing will change. Prayers and fasting, like Prof said, is good, but prayer and fasting alone won't get us anywhere. It hasn't gotten us anywhere. While we've prayed and fasted, the Westerners have kept on looting and stealing. While we've been praying and fasting, foreigners have overplayed us. While we've been praying and fasting, outsiders have come in and have taken everything from us. While we've been praying and fasting, our religious leaders have enriched themselves, while the masses have gotten broker. While we are praying and fasting, or while we've been praying and fasting, our children have been starving and going hungry. We all must wake up. We all must realize that praying and fasting won't solve our problems. Even in the Bible, it is said that fasting or praying without work is dead. If all you do is to believe, if all you do is to pray, if all you do is to fast without actually working, your life will never improve. We must do what is necessary. Our leaders must do the right things. But you guys out there, what is your opinion on religion in Africa? And how can we have a balanced lifestyle in Africa? For example, the religious lifestyle and also the social lifestyle, and how people can balance both lifestyle to ensure that one does not override the other. And secondly, can we just sit, pray, and fast without working, without thinking on how we can build our society? Please share your thoughts and opinions with us in the comment section below, because, like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, don't forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of good way, like the one you're doing just now, help us a lot, and we shall ever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.